careful. You might learn something.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your hosts. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
Hold them fours up, people. We're back for season 4, episode 1. We're calling it Mount Rushmore. It's your favorite host. I am Pharaoh, checking in with the Brown Bruce Wayne, Big John.
Yes,
Will West, the best, Nate.
You know it.
Back for season 4.
For sure.
So let's get into this right away, because I know what everybody want to talk about. Because, you know, honestly, I could go Katt Williams on a few of these wannabe podcast hosts too, you know, and Katt's trying to use their fame and other entities to jump in our lane, but I won't do that. But everything Katt said was pretty much truthful. I think that's why it got the response that it did. Plus, he's Katt, and he's from Cincinnati, so he's disrespectful. So, yeah, I wasn't going to jump over it. I tried to boycott it, man, but it was everywhere. You had to address it. I finally sat down and watched it.
He definitely corrupted the internet real quick. Yeah,
he broke the internet. You know, Katt definitely did that. So, I mean, let's do this, y'all. I got my opinions. What did you think about Katt Williams and his, shall we say, rant on Uncle Shay's show?
Okay. I don't mind a rant. I don't mind him speaking his mind or what they say these days, his truth. That's perfectly fine. But my problem was, if you're going to do that and you're going to stand on a moral high ground, make sure before you throw stones in a glass house that you cool. Because like I said, yes, the people who stole the jokes, yeah, okay, cool. Jump on them. But there's also footage of you stealing jokes. There's also footage going around of you doing things that you're telling people not to do. But my biggest problem was also attacking the people that necessarily didn't do anything to you. Like the whole ludicrous thing, the whole, I don't know what his beef is with Kevin Hart other than him being the top guy, him wanting to go at him. But Kevin Hart has never said or did anything to this man other than respond to what Katt says about him. Now,
he also threw that $5 million bet out there for Kevin Hart to take, whether it's comedy, boxing. He laid the gauntlet down for.
First of all, Katt, you from Cincinnati, you from Avondale, and I love you. But I seen you get beat up by a preteen, so I'm need for you to chill out on that.
He did. You got scuffed by a preteen.
You got scuffed by a 13-year-old, so I need you to chill out. Number 2. Like I said, so everything technically he said wasn't truthful. It had some truth to it, but it wasn't all the way truthful. Like the whole thing about him running a 4.240, relax.
I just saw him run a 4.4740.
Yeah, they said it was a 4.47. But I don't know how that. I don't know how that clocking was going on, but I don't know how.
But Alex, you know what I know, former football player. A basketball court is how long? It's 38 yards. It's not even 40. So he had about 6 or 7 more yards to go.
That's what I was gonna say, but you know, coming as a
hold on. He was on a college floor. That is 40 feet.
It still doesn't matter. Yards and feet are different.
Yeah, it's true.
At my best in my DB days, man, I consistently ran a 4.56, so he still got me. But no, listen, I don't give a damn what you say. And I love this guy that I'm about to mention, but you know what he said about Cedric was funny. I don't give a damn what you said.
Yeah, it was, bruh. Everything he said everything he said about the people who were stealing jokes had some truth to it. But like I said, you can't do that, and you do the same thing. Like even what's his name, the comedian, the real crazy one, the one that just be talking about everybody. I forgot his name. He showed a video of him, of Katt Williams stealing a joke from JC Smooth, whatever the hell his name is.
JB Smooth.
Yeah. But what's the comedian? Corey Holcomb. And you know Corey Holcomb don't care about nobody. Yeah. So
yeah, he ain't holding nobody. Corey Holcomb ain't holding nobody.
If you're gonna do that and you're gonna stand on this moral high ground, I'm excuse my language, I'm a real nigga, I'm this, I'm that. But you kind of doing the same thing you blaming other people for doing. So you can't.
I'm gonna give y'all a real in-depth opinion about this. So I agree with Kevin Hart. I mean, I agree with a lot of things Katt said. I agree with him saying Bernie is the greatest. We know that, and he was RIP to him. There's no argument about that. And he had ill feelings for Steve Harvey for whatever reason. We know that as well. Talking about the hairpiece and the bald head, we know all that stuff has come out, and the whole thing says stealing jokes, comedy. A lot of things are repetitive. I'm gonna say it that way. So sometimes jokes may sound like somebody else's joke, but it's just told in a different way. So that was one thing that I took from it. But at the same time, like Al said, a lot of that was truthful things that was involved. Now, when they start talking about the personal stuff, they doing things behind the scenes to get where they at. It just got a little far-fetched for me.
He said Chris Tucker couldn't play Smokey because we got the Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Now, when he started saying stuff like that, I was like, "Damn, Katt, man."
It's just too goddamn far. I'm sorry.
And before Al get into the spiel, like I hate to be that guy, but it's like one thing I hate is that other races don't do that, and it bothers me like that we as a people do that to others, that we have to down somebody or we have to talk about somebody.
The crab in the barrel mentality.
Yeah, we have to expose somebody, and everybody that hopped on it was agreeing with Katt Williams. Like, yeah, I didn't think Kevin Hart was funny anyway. Why? Because he said he was a plant. I said, we know how Kevin Hart came to be. He came up through Philly, through Dame Dash, through all these other people. Yep. We know how it happened. But now all of a sudden,
I've always said though that I didn't say that he wasn't funny, but I've always said that I don't believe Kevin Hart is as funny as most other people do.
And that's fine.
But Katt, I understand what you're saying, but Katt, at the end of the day, he did say I wouldn't have said nothing about these individuals if stuff wasn't said about me. Yeah. So he tried to make it seem like he was responding.
But what did Ludacris say about Katt? What did Earthquake say about Katt? What did Kevin Hart say about Katt that he didn't respond to?
Yeah.
None of these people said anything about Katt.
But you know what? He did give a compliment to Quake.
He said the nigga couldn't read, bro.
Yeah, he said he couldn't read.
But I'm saying after that, he did give him a compliment, though.
That's backhanded. That's backhanded. Like, yo, don't talk about me.
Going backwards, bro.
Telling the world I can't read and give me a compliment.
So I mean, if I went in on some of these fake, podcast hosts or individuals that are rappers or athletes that tried to hop in this lane during COVID when everybody was stuck in the house and didn't have nothing to do, would I be Katt Williams like?
No, because you're not doing anything else underhanded under the table to hide. And my thing is, even with the whole thing about Ludacris, you said him, and which is funny to me. So him and Ludacris was at an Illuminati meeting. Katt, if you so real, why the hell are you there anyway? Number one. Number two, you talking about this man's wife. Like, come on, cuz that's not player. That's not cool. But everybody gonna look at you. Oh, he exposed niggas. He does this and that. But you talk about people's livelihoods and their families. That's not cool, bro.
I understand the people.
You can think it's funny, but don't mean it's cool.
I understand, it's a lot of history behind
He talk about people's wives and how ugly they is, and they pulled up his ex-girlfriend and she hit like she the same tall, ugly, light-skinned woman. What he talked about he said that he sat there on that sofa and looked like a fat walrus. Couldn't even move his arms. Bruh, he's a comedian. And that's no disrespect to say it, because obviously I love, say it. And I understand what you're saying, because the majority of the people that he was talking about are people that we came up watching, people that we idolize for our culture, for the comedy, circuit, and they are legends in their own right. Now, again, you could be competitive and you can go at the top dogs, and I don't fault him at all for having that type of competitive spirit, because most of them do. And like he talked about, some of them have it behind the scenes, because I do believe that whole thing about the gatekeepers comment and the conglomerate and all that stuff, because that exists in every industry.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It exists in this one. People that you think, would want to help or open the door, they don't, because they look at you as competition, and you could be taken away from their livelihood or their streams or they, support. So, I agree, and I understand that Katt came up. I'm not gonna say he came up different, You know what I mean? And the rest of them, because a lot of them came up on that grind and built themselves from the dirt, came up, from the bottom. He was trying to poke holes in Steve Harvey's story again. Not, somebody that I personally think is, hilarious, drop out funny. But again, he is a legend and you can't take away from, his accomplishments, in the entertainment field. So, I don't know what Katt's purpose necessarily was, but he did break the damn internet.
He broke the internet. He definitely did. White and black comedians tuned in for that.
He was definitely
Jimmy
he
Fallon
definitely did
said
his
something
job.
about it.
He
That's how
definitely
bad
did
it
his
was.
job. Like when you want to get clicks and responses and people to watch, he was must see TV, and nobody's taking that
Oh
away from
yeah,
him. Nobody's
he
taking away that
was.
from him.
I got mad at Junebug. I'm gonna put him on the spot, Carl McMullen, because he was on here talking about that cat stuff, and that's why I didn't watch it initially because I was like, yo, bro, I'd have known you since we was 5 years old, literally. And when I asked you to check out Factual Page, you like, bro, how long is it? I was like, did you ask Uncle Shay Shay how long it was for you clicked on that mug? But that's a whole nother story. We ain't got to get into
No,
that deep.
we can get into that. That's ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey
Well,
man, I just
why
want to
is
say,
it
I'm
that
gonna tell you
people?
why we talking about that. We need to support each other's podcasts. It don't even matter.
We
We
need to
locally
support each
But you
other's
brewed,
see me,
Cincinnati
businesses.
based.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Just
I'm
a
like the
simple
Cat
like
Williams of
and a
this.
share is enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm like the Cat Williams of this shit. Like to be honest, like I plug JT, with front office news. I plug, the culture podcast. My dude Kyron, whoever. Like I'm not, scared to pass the baton because I'm comfortable in my own skills in my own lane. So
Well, you
I
better
don't view
post mine
nobody
next week, Alex.
as a
You
threat.
know.
Man, I do post men versus truth versus women. Your podcast, never mind. We ain't
Yeah.
even gonna go.
why you bringing up old stuff? But anyway,
Your
but yeah,
podcast got me in trouble when I came on there.
but we need to support each other's podcasts, businesses, all that, man.
Yeah,
It's just
everything.
sad.
All
Like,
that.
Top to
Shout out to
bottom.
my dude Bryson Lacey Car Services if you need your car fixed, man. Curtis Customs Cuisine. Like y'all hear me plug these individuals,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not just plugging them. I support them too. So
man,
I don't know what's wrong with supporting
Shout
the
out to my
people
folk too.
that you
Trap
grew up
Natural,
with.
all them. Yeah,
Where's
everybody.
Zays at? Get the Philly cheesesteak fries. You know, I didn't eat too many of them last year because brother lost 90 pounds. So but
Are you at 90 now?
shout out to Nori. I'm at 90 now, so
All right,
can't
you
take
got
no back steps.
yes, sir.
So we got a couple comments before we move on from the Cat Williams things. Miss Rosetta said Cat was getting us hip. I believe this is Ephesians 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against power, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Well, I'm never gonna shortchange the Lord's words, but I don't know that Cat was trying to be holier than
Nah, he
thou.
wasn't
Thank
being. He was
you,
being very
thank you,
unholy.
thank
Sorry
you.
about that, Rosetta. Shout out to
Let's
my people.
okay. I appreciate the word, Miss Lady, but Cat is definitely wasn't
Yeah,
doing
that
that.
was very unholy.
Say
Very
that
Yeah,
wasn't
unholy.
his intention.
let's pump the brakes. I love the Lord too, but nah, he wasn't doing that, and
I mean,
he was
and,
partaking
and,
in some of them things he was talking about.
okay, and he probably was. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna say this because we usually stay away from. I mean, I'm not ashamed of my spiritual beliefs or anything, but here's the thing: when you start quoting that, I feel like nobody's perfect, but you better be at least trying to live the lifestyle and or
Righteously.
yeah that are coming down on other people for, man. And that's the thing, like you can't do that. To quote my uncle Rob, here you are supposed to be holier than thou, and you out here doing the same stuff. You know, don't work out like that, man. Lord's prayer is not a part time deal, although we all come short. So, but no, I look. If you believe what I believe, there's a day for that, and it always says what's done in the dark will come out in the light, and that ain't my responsibility. That ain't Cat's responsibility. That'll happen by itself.
Yep.
Yep, and like they say, like it's a Masonic quote as well. What was in the dark, it comes to light in some way, shape, or form. And People will be hoodwinked, bamboozled
Bamboozled.
by the wrong thing. So you know what I'm saying. So it's a lot involved with that. So and then it's always two sides, and then there's the truth. So
I don't believe Cat is lying though, because this is how I'm gonna wrap this conversation up. When he said that if you didn't want me to say anything bad about me, you should have treated me better when I was in your presence. You don't get to narrate my truth or my experience with you. Now I know that's something that all three of us have dealt with various individuals throughout our life and felt that way in certain scenarios. I know I have. Like, yeah, you can't tell me how to feel or whatever, and I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna give you my truth. You know, you try to twist it all you want, and I think that's part of what Cat was trying to do. But there's definitely some professional jealousy in there. You know that, you hear that, and it's not that Cat ain't a legend himself because we know he is. I just
yeah.
I just think it's one of them dog eat dog worlds, man. Unless you in it, you probably don't understand it. Like, to be honest. So
Now, I'm gonna say this too. I know I know we're gonna end it at this. I believe some of what Kevin Hart said. I do feel like Cat kind of effed himself over in certain situations. So I
maybe,
I mean like
but
that
but
that
if
what
it has to do with what he's saying, and because of certain things he wasn't willing to do, or selling his soul, or his pride in the process, then I don't have a problem with that. If he didn't want to put on a dress in the movie, I don't have a problem, with
that's
that.
the thing. A lot of people ignore the fact that whole dress thing, that's a real thing. It's a real
I mean,
thing
that's
that
a
go.
real thing because you can see it. Like,
Yeah.
the actors that have done it, for whatever reason, or whatever your take is on it, why they did it, why they put on the dress, blah blah blah. Just about all of them have done it at some point.
But it's a whole bunch of them that are successful that haven't. So what's your excuse? Like there are ways around it. Like whether Bernie
Yeah.
Mac ain't never put on no dress. Uh, if you
Nah, but
talk
he
about
played Jingle,
okay, okay, but he ain't
He
put on
ain't
no
put a
dress.
dress on though.
Okay, Denzel never put on a
Look, my
Denzel never
man
put on a
Brian.
dress.
He said at the end of the day, we learned a valuable lesson here: don't party with Diddy.
Hey,
That's a fact.
sustain, my
Hey
nigga,
B, that's a
sustain,
fact. Don't go to a
sustain.
Diddy party unless you with your lady. And you might not even want to go with her at the end.
Yes,
I still
yeah,
can't say nothing about Sean Combs, but that was funny.
yeah.
That's all.
But yeah, man, it's other Samuel L. Jackson. There's other people that never put on dresses that are successful
They
in
knew
the
better than to
industry.
ask Samuel L. Jackson to put on the.
But I'm just saying, him,
He'll kill somebody.
Denzel, Bernie Mac, even if they play somebody that may be a little zesty, they never put on a dress. They never.
Zesty. Is that what we calling it nowadays?
I'm
Yeah,
just
they got
trying
it.
to.
Yeah, they got a
Cat
real.
had
Yeah,
me weak. But see, that's what he was talking about with that comedy. Like one of y'all had mentioned earlier. He was like, "Yo, there's different ways of telling jokes and saying things now." It's like you can't use the R word no more now. You say he's on the spectrum, stuff like that
right,
to get your
right.
point across. And I think even if somebody used a joke or something like that, that's part of it, man. But
Yeah.
so we spent enough time on Cat. Let's go ahead and transition. He might surface back in at the end of the day because I like how he dropped those sports references in every now and then when he was talking to Uncle Shannon every week. But
When you lining across another defender, you gonna make sure that you know that team ain't better than yours, but you know what you can do. I mean, he real
have
with
you
that
ever
one.
dropped a pass? Ain't that what he asked Uncle Shannon? Uh, but so man, I didn't think I'd feel any type of way about it, but we had two legends um, step down or mutually step down
Yeah,
within the past 24 hours. Um, Nick Saban retired from
that was a
Roll
shock.
Tide.
That was a shock. I was
Oh,
shocked.
I was happy.
I
For
know
me,
you.
Sorry,
actually,
cousin
I was shocked.
Bernard.
if
Because I'm gonna
you
make sure he get this. I'm gonna get you, Big John. I'm gonna make sure cousin Bernard get this down there in Birmingham. Y'all going back to them Sean Alexander uh, eating 4, 7, and 5 days. I'm just letting you know.
It didn't really surprise me though, because if you paid attention to him all year, he was like, God rest his soul. He kind of reminded me of Coach Sharp. Well, Coach Sharp was with us those last few years, but he looked like he was enjoying everything. Like if you paid attention to Nick Saban this year, man, he was coaching harder. He was doing more things. He was more emotional than we've seen him being. I kind of figured he was on his way out.
I do think he did a great coaching job this year, and one of his better coaching jobs because this is
Yeah,
not one of
it
his
showed
better
that he could
teams
coach.
talent wise. You know what I
Definitely
mean?
showed he could coach.
And they dropped that game early against Texas at home in Bryant-Denny Stadium. You know, that season could have went any which way. You know what I mean? So, I agree with Nate. I think he did a hell of a coaching job this year. Y'all know me. I'm not a Nick Saban fan by far, but you know, I am a football savant fan, so I have to give respect where it's due. You know, that man's a legend, and college football will undoubtedly be changed without Nick Saban. And then his former boss, when Saban was his defensive coordinator with the Cleveland Browns, shall we say, mutually parted ways with the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Today, I mean, that's what they say.
It was definitely mutual.
That's what they saying. But
I think he walked away.
It was 60-40.
I ain't gonna hold you. I think he walked away.
What he said was
It was 60-40. Yeah, I don't think it was mutual. It may have been 55-45.
I think Mr. Kraft was going to do that either way, personally.
Yeah. I think Bill Belichick was walking away.
He probably hit him with Bill. You know, we love you.
Yeah, but Bill wanted Bill wanted to stay, though, because in the days leading up to it, you had a couple things surface like, oh, he's willing to give up, you know, some of his, you know, personnel power and things to stay or whatever. But when that story leaked, and I know they was mad as hell because, you know, the Patriots like to keep everything close to the vest. When that story leaked, though, I believed it because of the people that said it. And I'm talking about a couple weeks ago when it, you know, got leaked that Coach Belichick probably was not going to be back. I'm like, that because that ain't no story that just, you know, come out for no reason. I'm like, yeah, that came from a reliable source. So 6 Super Bowls, man. I mean, you can say what you want. Whether you believe some of it was aided by, you know, I'll be nice and say bending the rules since I'm trying to give a shout out to a legend. You know, we had Big Ronnie out here. Shout out to Big Ronnie. Hey, Ronnie, we gotta go get some wings, man.
Yeah, man, we gotta get some food, bro.
We gotta go get some food, bro. Man. Coming to your house, you cook, bro.
Yeah, because the food you be posting,
big your back.
Yeah, Big Ronnie don't be playing, man. That grill out there.
Yeah, man. We might go out there.
Yeah, so he had a lot of good feelings for Coach Belichick. I mean, it's gonna be different without them, but honestly, I do think it's time, man. I do think it's time for some new blood.
Quick question. I think Saban is done. You think Belichick is done?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think Belichick is done. I feel like,
and even if he's done as a head coach, I could certainly see Nick Saban being at somebody's front office. You know what I mean? Like
he going front office.
Yeah, but I don't think he's done as a head coach. I think he wants that Shula record. I think he wants it.
Trust me, there's a lot of NFL franchises that will hop, skip, and jump right now to interview Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Now, is he on the downside? And I say this only as far as age, yes, but I think he still wants to coach. I think he would be refreshed by a new environment. Honestly,
I don't think they'll let him be the GM though. I don't think he can pick his own groceries anymore. I don't think they're gonna
Cincinnati Bengals. Go ahead, Colin.
Depends on the situation. Now, don't get me started on our Bengals because I'm gonna kind of hop and then come back. So I'm glad you brought them up because I wanted to do a wrap up or summary of the season. You had a lot of people that were still holding on to hope that Jake Browning was gonna pull a Nick Foles, and I knew that wasn't gonna happen. But you know, okay, Cleveland.
Excuse my faces. I'm sorry. My Celtics playing too, so my bad.
Cleveland. Right. The Browns, you know, I got to give a shout out to them because when Deshaun Watson went down, I think they tried that back up for about a week or two and was like, nah, we got to go bring somebody in here to save our season. and they went out and got former Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco. Why couldn't my beloved Bengals get on the phone and call TB12 and say, I know you want to run it back one more time. Your wife is already divorcing you, so it's too late for that. You got Uno out here, you got T. Higgins, and you got Tyler Boyd. Tom Brady come back and run it back. Why couldn't we make that move? Now it's like you proving Carson Palmer right that you're not gonna make that last move to get you over the hump.
Yeah. That's
That's
well
how I
said.
felt. I don't know how y'all felt about it, but
That's
that's how
well
I
said.
felt.
I didn't even
So
think
now
about
you want to call Big Tom. Now you want to call Big Tom.
I wasn't thinking about Big Tom.
Oh, I'm talking to Alex. Alex full of. He full of it. What did he say? That
Yeah,
bull time.
call him now.
So now you want to call Big Tom.
Yeah, we should have called him. That would have been my first call.
We could have
Tom
called
Brady
Cam.
would have at least listened.
We could have called Cam.
Cincinnati don't want Cam.
I
And
just
I
thought I
love
would throw that
Cameron.
out there to see how that felt.
I love Cameron Darrell
Oh.
Newton, but it's a lot of people that don't. So, his playing days are done, unfortunately. They shouldn't be. And if they are, he should just now be wrapping up. I think, Cam kind of played himself short. He probably had a few years as a backup in him, but he wasn't willing to accept that role yet. You know what I mean? So he wasn't gonna go out like RG3 and the rest.
Yeah, he didn't want to go out like that.
If I'm
His
a
pride was too
Heisman
big for
Trophy
that.
winner, if I'm a Heisman Trophy winner, NFL MVP, I wouldn't want to go out like that either. And he was a Denver Broncos defense away from winning the Super Bowl. I wouldn't want to go out that way either.
I get it.
Yeah.
So those were the legends that I wanted to talk about. I am a little concerned. I think we witnessed the last game that Tyler Boyd will play in a Cincinnati Bengals uniform. You might have witnessed the last one that T. Higgins is playing, but I still think they'll end up franchising. It probably make between $18 to $22 million next year, and then he'll be out the door like Jesse Bates was. Who, by the way, we did miss this year.
Yeah.
Your
And
boy
Jesse
Dax
Bates is in
Hill.
the category for Defensive Player of the Year.
Your boy Dax Hill, he was solid. He was okay. Little George Iloka, and just kind of out there. It wasn't bad, but what J. Rose said at old ESPN commercial, he said, "Is that bad? It's not good."
Right.
But no, I said the Bengals were gonna miss Von Bell and Jesse Bates because for a few years we had the best safety duo in the league, and we did. But I still wouldn't point to that as the one thing. I think injuries just caught up with the Bengals this year more than anything.
Yeah, they lost the war of attrition bad.
Yeah, so they got some decisions to make.
Yeah.
DJ Reader is going to be another big decision on what they do, with him and whether they bring back. I think he's been one of the linchpins of the Bengals turnaround that don't get talked about much. That signing of DJ Reader back in 2019 was huge.
It definitely was big time.
And when he decides you ain't running the ball, you're not running the ball.
Bro, he's the equivalent of Philly's Fletcher Cox. Like, you don't move him. Like, you have to keep him. You have to make him happy and keep him.
Well, the thing is gonna be.
That's what I wanted to
but
ask.
you know what the thing is gonna be. The Bengals gonna say, well, you're close to 30 now. You're coming off your second major leg or knee, injury. They're going to bring that to the negotiation table.
Yeah.
DJ Reader is going to want his money, which he's rightfully earned on the field as a veteran. So it becomes questions: what are the Bengals willing to pay? What is DJ Reader willing to, accept at the bargaining table? They have a lot of decisions to make coming to the table. But what I wanted to talk about before we get too far off track, we got the playoffs coming up. I'm fully expecting Big Trust to win that NFL MVP, Lamar Jackson. Being unbiased, I have to give a shout out to the Ravens. They knew what they were missing with Lamar Jackson. They went out and got this man, Nelson Aguilar. They went out and drafted Zay Flowers. They went out and signed OBJ. Drafted what's my man from Minnesota?
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman a few years ago. They gave Lamar Jackson the weapons, and then all of a sudden he can do that thing that people tried to say he couldn't do, was just throw the football.
Throw the football,
which he's always been able to do.
So the playoffs are going to be interesting this year, but I want to stop, and I'm going to give my one and only salute to.
My bad. That's my bad. That's my bad. All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna give my one and only salute.
Get it out the way.
If you got Ciroc, I'm about to say, if you got Ciroc Berry up there, you might take a sip. But...
Yeah, figure something out. Yeah, get it out the system.
I left the red berry in the kitchen on accident. To that team up north, the University of Michigan Wolverines won their second national championship since color TV was invented. Their 12th overall in school history.
Did you see my post the other day talking about they won an outright championship since they had face masks?
That's true, actually, because prior to that split national championship in 1997, their last championship was 1948. So no, they did not have face masks on helmets.
97, they switched to the plastic pads.
Hey, look,
shout out to Triggs, shout out to Reem.
Look, I've already reached out to Triggs and Reem and said, congratulations. I tried to reach out to Albert, but he didn't respond, so I deleted the comment because I'm petty.
Albert been talking to me. Shout out AP, man. Shout out Lil Bruh. You all right, man.
Shout out to Ryan Larkin.
Lil Bruh, because he probably think I'm going to go off and say something slick or something, but it's like, nah, I don't have anything to say. They won, right. At the end of the day, and they beat my state university, and I know they wasn't stealing signs in that game, so I don't want to hear that excuse. They won. What's your name? Bill Lambier for the Pistons when the Bulls finally beat them, and the reporters kept asking him, so Bill, what happened different this time? They won. Like, but I mean, what like happened? What was the difference this time? They won.
Right.
Everything he kept saying that they won, and that's how I feel about Michigan right now. They won. What can I say? And
let me go get my man. I can't do this like this. I gotta get my beverage. Hold on.
Yeah.
I wish I could step away and get mine, but
yeah, there you go.
Kyle McCord sucks.
But man, look, bro, like Kyle
McCord sucks.
He does. I knew Michigan was gonna beat Alabama. I was praying, Penix and those boys put up an offensive fight, and they tried for a little minute, but they couldn't hold up.
You could just tell from the beginning that Michigan was too big and too physical. It wasn't gonna work out.
Yeah, they was roughing us up the first two possessions.
I was like, if you can't stop Michigan from running the ball, you have no shot.
But
and when Corner scored, I was like, when he scored, I was like, here we go.
But Alex, in the middle of the game, we always talk about it's 3 or 4 drives or plays that will ruin the game. Washington had their shot. 3 drives that killed themselves by penalties. That one dumb turnover when Penix shorted the receiver. They had chances to take
John,
over.
I was watching that game, and I said 73 had 5 false starts that game.
Yeah.
5 false starts.
I get what you're saying, McJohn, and I know it's the truth, but did you ever feel like Michigan was not in control of that ball game?
Nope.
When
I did.
I didn't. It was yes, actually I did. Like I said, probably the end of the second quarter, the beginning of the third, like when Washington was doing what they was doing, they had too many drive killers. They actually were. Like,
I don't feel like Michigan was worried.
Are you serious?
At no point during that game do I feel like Michigan was worried. at all.
Michigan did not lose control of that game the entire.
They don't have to be worried.
See me
That's
brushing my
fine.
beard like Adrian Broner. Like,
They don't have to be worried. But I'm just telling you,
they weren't worried.
like he had whatever number one name is, because I don't want to butcher his name. Number one, the receiver.
Yeah,
He had him.
He missed him
had
3 different times.
He had 2 touchdowns that Penix
That
overthrew him or underthrew him.
That one was ugly.
They took 14.
The one he overthrew. The first one he overthrew.
It was 1. It was 2.
That was pretty. But I'm talking about the first one though.
The first one was
to stop things from getting out of hand, or Michigan totally, taking a stranglehold. Like, he was wide open. There was no excuse for that.
Yeah, there wasn't no excuse on that.
Any other game that's touchdown. Both of them, both plays. Any other game that's touchdown. Like they.
So here's the question I got though. Hold
on, Al. Shout out to my boy Taj Boomer, because Taj. Shout out to Taj. He played for the University of Washington. He said it. He actually went to the game, and he said he just wasn't on the mark, and they kept putting him on the ground. It was that was his 2 key things he said.
Well, because he out there with that recycled leg brace on underneath the sock, because he done tore his ACL like 4 times.
Yeah.
So what I noticed more than anything was him not stepping into his throws and not being confident, because I know Penix was worried about getting that knee blown up again.
And another reason why he couldn't step into his throws, because big 72 and 55 Graham was pushing up the middle. He had no choice.
Pressing it back. As soon as he said height, it was already getting pushed back.
I gave Michigan their flowers. Oh, here we go.
You know it was coming, bro.
Now we got Reedland here talking about Go Blue.
I knew he was. I
already gave y'all shout out, and I'm not gonna do it again. So,
hey Al, this is the funny thing. I never forget waking up. I knew it was Ohio State weekend. Reem Daddy used to come on the porch and do the fake yawn with this big Michigan hoodie on, and it used to piss me off. And it's like, man, I gotta respect my elders, but I'm ready to tell him, F him, man. Go on in the house, bro.
You know what I've never understood from Reem and Triggs and Albert, and you know what? I love them because they, are homies, and they are actually real Michigan fans. So that's okay.
They are.
And they've been Michigan fans our whole life.
Ryan Larkin as well. He one of them too, man.
Now I don't understand why
for Michigan. So
being born in the state of Ohio, Southwest Ohio at that. We ain't one of them border towns like Findlay or nothing like that where they confuse. I don't understand why, but that's okay. What I don't like, and I don't give a damn if people say something or comment. There's a lot of people that are just going against the grain. It's usually women and females that are posting this Go Blue shit and all this other stuff. And it's like, you can't even tell me when Michigan's last Heisman was without Googling it, but you a Michigan fan over the age of 30. Right. Like, come on with that crap, man. You just going against the grain. And I'm going to say what I said, and I'm going to continue to say it. If you like Michigan so damn much, go drink their water. Flint, Michigan, to be exact. I don't get it. I'm proud to be from the state of Ohio and have clean drinking water and not have to deal with natural disasters or getting eaten by no grizzly bear or alligator. I like Ohio.
That's how you feel. I'm just upset that the Lord let Michigan win and my guys are still in the basement. That's my only problem. If you're gonna do anything, help us.
If you got a while before your players will stop killing each other 2 miles off campus.
Man, look, that happened years ago. Okay,
ain't no parents sending their kid there.
They sending them somewhere. They sending them there.
And then you got the president of the university bowling with crooks.
Hey man, they need to bring Luke back. Bring all the crooks back.
They ain't coming back, man. You know what? And I always say, if you don't go to Ohio State, go to the U. I always try to plug y'all and get y'all back. I would much rather see the U be back than any of these SEC teams. But I don't know what's going on down there, man. Because I feel like Chris Paul's the right coach. But
see, he may be, but until we get, like I said, it may not never happen. But until we go back to the dreads and the gold teeth, bro, it ain't gonna happen, bro.
Look at Reem talking about I love UC. Not Ohio State. That's fine because you are a disloyal Ohioan.
Well, I guess I am too.
Disloyal Ohio.
I
And you
guess
should
I
be
am too.
forced to move to the state of Michigan since you love them so much, Reem. I would miss you, brother, but I think that's where you need
Reem
to
ain't going
go.
up there.
Nah, man, you love it so much. Go up there and deal with that
But here's the
snow.
thing.
He
Y'all
got
hate
4
each other,
kids. He ain't
and
going nowhere.
that's what y'all hate
Bye.
each other, and that's what y'all supposed to do in a rivalry. I have no dog in the race, so it didn't even matter.
Let me tell you
But
something. Michigan is disgusting. And the only thing that I'm happy about is that the Big Ten won a national championship. But I still wasn't sitting there rooting for them because I can't bring myself. You remember what one of our favorite teachers said at Schroeder? Shout out to Mr. Flag,
that's my guy.
who is an Ohio State graduate. I'm gonna do my best Mr. Flag voice. I don't even root for Michigan when it helps Ohio State.
Right.
Like just can't. And I
No.
saw them wearing. Then they come out there wearing all blue instead of wearing the maize and blue. The traditional uniform in the national championship.
I like the all blue.
Jeff liked the all blue too. I was pissed. I'm like, what? Why you liking their uniforms, man? What's wrong with you?
I ain't gonna even lie. The blue on blue nice though, but I
Yeah, I
ain't
like the
rooting
all
for
blue.
him.
And
I
ain't
ain't
no
rooting for him.
Fab Five.
I ain't rooting for him.
with
Ain't no-
the Jordan emblem, I kind of like the all blue. I like
Hey, Big John, I'm
I
with you.
see.
I
just a little
like it,
bit.
but I ain't rooting for him.
I
That's
see
fine.
Desmond Howard on
Hey,
there.
I'm in
Talking
the
about,
house. I was in the house looking at him.
Hey,
I was like,
bro.
hey, that
And when I
looks
made the joke,
good, but
when
I
I
ain't
made the
rooting for
joke
him.
about the no face mask, man, Reeve jumped on my back, man, about the 97 team. I'm like, bro, Reeve, Charles Wilson is one of my favorite players. Relax, bro. You ain't got to beat me up, bro. We
shout
good,
out
bro.
to the voice of Bengals Radio Network, Mr. Wayne Boss Miller,
Ah!
Oh yeah, give him a shout
Hey, we
out
gotta
too,
who's
man.
we
been
gotta
on the
send
show a
my
couple times.
brother a cardigan. We gotta get him a cardigan. We
Right.
gotta send him one.
No, I reached out to Mr. Miller before the game. I said, "Your boy's gonna get it done today." And he was like, "Yeah." So I ain't saying nothing to him since, but
And also, when they did win, man, I sent brother Jonesy a friend request, man. Jonesy love Michigan too, man. So
yeah, I know he love Michigan.
yeah,
So
man.
moving on because we spent too much time
Shout
talking
out
about
to
them
Rico
Browns.
Murray too, man. His family is Michigan alum, but yeah,
So
man.
really quickly, I got to get this Ohio State in, and then we're gonna go to the Mount Rushmore portion of the program. So uh, where we left off, we were excited and ready to see what the Ohio State University was possibly going to do in the Cotton Bowl. A lot of their players did, come back and suit up for that game. So it wasn't like, Florida State or some other schools that just completely tapped out. We were excited to see what Devin Brown was potentially going to do getting his first reps as a starting quarterback. Did not go as planned because after getting a field goal, he twisted his ankle and it was all downhill from there. It was one of the ugliest performances I've ever seen, and I've been a Buckeyes fan since 1994. Um,
I cut the
it's
game
getting
off.
to the point.
I cut the game off.
I fell asleep, which I never do on Ohio State, but it's getting to the point. You remember when Michael Irvin kept getting in trouble down there in Dallas, and Troy would go sit in the back in the courtroom and stuff and try to be there for his support. And it got to the point where Troy Aikman said, Michael, I'm telling people what a good guy you are all the time, but you're making it really hard on me right now. Ryan Day, I've been trying to defend you and tell people you still one of the 3 or 4 best coaches in America, but you making it kind of hard on a brother right now to defend you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't even the defense. The defense, had Ohio State winning 3-0 going into the fourth quarter.
Majority of the
But
game.
but as Jim Moore would say, when you get absolutely diddly poo from your offense, it's kind of hard to maintain that, man. Um, Positive, you got Aaron Nolan who just enrolled, for spring semester, winter quarter, whatever it's called
Is
up
he
there
playing in the
now.
spring game?
Yeah, he'll be playing in the spring game.
Are we going up?
Let's go. I know I'm going because they need all the help and support that they can get right right now. So Will Howard also transferred in from Kansas State. I think he's got to be the favorite to land the starting gig, and that will at least make them not have to rush Aaron Nolan into action. Because it was getting to the point where it's like, yo, we're gonna have to start this true freshman this year.
Right.
Man, the quarterback is important, man.
Yeah, it hurt, man. It hurt.
Yeah, bruh. And Brown had that 33-year-old. That was terrible. I know why. I know the reason why he do it, but that was terrible.
Marvin Harrison Jr. declared for the draft today. Surprise, surprise. Emeka Ibuka is coming back though,
Yep,
so
I did see that.
that's your number one wide receiver coming back, and it's a bunch of young boys that are ready to get loose now in that Ohio State receiver core. They wasn't ready to go in that Cotton Bowl, but hopefully them spring practices will get them up to par and ready to go. Because I'm, as Cedric would say, I'm concerned. So moving on from the Buckeyes, I wanted to do this Mount Rushmore thing, man, because a lot of people have been posting those, and I wanted to get you guys' opinions. We'll span from sports to music. I posted the one pick earlier about producers. So when you say Mount Rushmore, you talking about like the top four greatest, whatever. We can start with music because there won't be as many examples of that, and then we'll go over to sports. I did the producers since Brian said don't party with Diddy earlier. I guess I'll go first. You know, with my Mount Rushmore hip hop producers. So I think number 4 for me, I would probably start with Rick Rubin. Number 3, actually, I am gonna go ahead and put Kanye West's crazy ass in there at number 3. At number 2, and I know people gonna argue with this, but I'm gonna go with Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka Diddy, Papa Diddy Pop, whatever you want to call it, as Ben Affleck said in that movie. Oh, no, that was Ben Stiller in that video. And number 1 for me is Dr. Dre. So really hard to put anybody over Dre, in my opinion. Nate?
I'm gonna go with Rick Rube first, number 4. I'm gonna go with Just Blaze at 3.
You like how I put Just Blaze in that
Yeah,
graphic.
Just Blaze. I just
Did Nate pop out of the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, Nate popped out of the screen, so we got to be professional and keep going.
Yes,
Um, I put just Blaze in there because I don't feel like a lot of people give him his just due, and he's made a lot of great
Yeah.
hits over the years.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't remove Nate from the from the chat, so hopefully he loads back in.
my bad. My son was.
Although he go blame it on Chase.
Yeah, there you go. You good?
My bad. Okay, all right.
He gonna
So
blame it on Chase. All right,
it was.
where
He
did
done
you
called
even
me
leave
4
off?
straight times, bro. He called me 4 straight times.
You said Rick Rubin at number 4, Just Blaze
Just
at number
Blaze was number
3.
3. Kanye was 2, and then I got as much as I hate it, and I'm an R&B guy. Diddy got my number
You
1
gonna
spot.
put Puff at number 1?
Diddy got my number 1 spot. I've been 5 was fighting all day about it, all day.
Anybody say Swizzy or Timbo and
It's crazy. It's some people that I want to name, but
You
they
said
it's
4,
just,
so I had to keep it.
I
but
know, I
they're
said the Mount
yeah,
Rushmore.
yeah. It's like it's people I want to name, but they not worthy of the Mount Rushmore. Like it's just you can't put them up there. But okay, 4. I'm gonna say for real.
Okay.
3. I'm gonna say Kanye. 2, Diddy. 1, Dre.
I feel like when you talking straight hip hop, it's hard for Diddy and Dre not to be 1 and 2. I just feel that way. I honestly feel like they could be interchangeable, to be honest, but Dre is just
And it's
And
it's a whole bunch of others, whether it's Timberland, Twist, Large Professor. It's a whole bunch that I could
well,
have.
see, and that's what I'm saying. Like when I say Mount Rushmore, I mean exactly that because it's a
Yeah,
whole bunch of, like you said, producers that would never be named in that Mount Rushmore discussion, but are like dope. Lord Finesse. People that people don't understand. Missy Elliott is one of the most underrated producers or contributors to a lot of albums.
and I
People
said
don't talk
Timberland.
about.
Timberland could be on your Mount Rushmore. I just didn't name him, but
Havoc is a dope,
yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure,
producer.
For
for
sure.
sure.
Uh,
Sure. We might
a
have a
lot of
special
people.
guest in a second. Hold on. Well, she's right here. Just to let y'all know.
So it's a lot of producers that I love and I mess with. But as far as that Mount Rushmore, I almost put look at Harmony. I almost put um, Russell Simmons in there, but he's more of an executive producer,
I was going to
not.
say he's an exec though. He ain't no. I
But
wouldn't.
yeah,
If
that's what I'm saying. Like, cause see, then you start talking about people like, Master P, Suge,
Yeah,
people like that, that don't nobody want to talk about, Jay Prince, all those executive producer cats out there, baby, with Cash Money. Um, but see, Diddy and Dre could fall into that executive producer category too.
yeah.
I like Cool and Dre too. Cool and Dre could have been in that category as well.
Yeah, I think for me, what separates Diddy and Dre is their ability to find talent too and to bring the best out of them. As far as producing them, and a lot of people, and I think this is a perfect time for me to plug this and definitely make sure that it's a teaser clip. A lot of people will ask, "Well, what does Diddy do?" And I hate when people say that because it's like disrespectful as hell. Like, what do you mean? What does Diddy do? Because there's different type of producers. There's producers like Smokey Robinson who's gonna sing the note for you, do the hook, write the whole damn song, and say, "Here, Temptations, sing this song." And then there's people that it's more abstract. It's less of a science. No, they don't play the actual instruments or anything like that. But it's a ditty to say, "Okay, Mariah Carey, you want me to remix this fantasy? I'm gonna put you on here with ODB. Who does that? And it turns into a
Crazy
classic.
combination. We forgot about JD too.
Let's do the, and I'll get to JD in a second. Let's do the Honey remix with Mariah Carey. Let's throw the Locks and Mace on there. And Diddy's thing is more of a, I'm gonna tell you how to say it. Say it like this. Big used to complain about that. Well, Diddy want me to do all this R&B stuff and da 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 da, because there's a way that you say certain words or a melody or something
Yeah.
that carries a certain way that makes it an entirely different track, and that's what he does. You know, or knowing, hey, I'm gonna put this person on this verse, or no, you ain't on this track. Da 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 da. So it's less of a science and more of a feel. But I believe Dre has both. Like he can do the beat, he can write the machine. He knows how to tell you how to say it. You
I
know,
always forget he used to write for Easy. I always forget about it.
the thing about it is Dre Easy was the money behind the operation, but you can essentially say that Dre discovered Easy as a rapper. So Dre discovered Easy E. He was friends with Ice Cube, so you kind of say he put Ice Cube on, too. Warren G was his little brother
Yeah.
who introduces him to an unsigned Snoop Dogg from Long Beach. He I mean I don't want to say he discovered Eminem, but basically he did. Um, who discovered 50 Cent? Like,
That
and
was
I
M.
know 50,
M had 50.
but that's what I'm saying. I said who discovered 50 Cent? Eminem discovered 50 Cent, so it's still up under his umbrella, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So, and he was very much involved in Get Rich or Die Trying in the first album. Trust me, you can tell the difference between 50's music when Dre was involved
He had
versus
six
when he
songs on
was
it.
not.
He had 6 songs.
Same thing with Game. You know, when Dre was heavily involved in that first album, the documentary, there's a different sound to it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's unquestioned.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even let me add Nate back in. Even 50 was like, yo, when at least on that first album, he was like, when Dre say something, I don't even argue, man. It's like it's Dre. You know what I mean? So that was the Mount Rushmore of the producers. I don't necessarily want to do rap artists because I think we've kind of touched on that before. We've all given our top 10 or top
We
five
already
or
did that. We ain't gotta go to
top
that.
four or whatever. So when it comes to this NBA thing and the Mount Rushmore, I'm not gonna do one like people would say just top four in general. Let's break it down because that's not fair. But you know what? It is controversial. So let's do that first. Mount Rushmore, Big John, NBA players. This is your Mount Rushmore, regardless of position.
Okay, regardless of that's so tough. Like for like just picking athletes in general. Okay, my Mount Rushmore. Uh, Michael Jordan, Kareem,
Cap,
Ron, and
Ron,
the last one is tough because there's so many you could name. But I'm gonna go ahead and say Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal. I'll go ahead and go because Miss Harmony got Nate busy right now.
Got me slowed
Um,
up.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Kobe Bean Bryant. Should have said him first, honestly.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Um, well, you know, he number one in my heart. Uh, you know what? Speaking of my heart, Allen Iverson is on my Mount Rushmore.
Ain't no argument with that. Ain't no argument with that.
He is for me. See, Big John making a face, but AI
No, no,
is
no.
for
I'm
me.
not. I'm not talking about for your pick because it's so hard just picking the Mount Rushmore. Like if I didn't say Shaq, the other one will probably be Magic. Like that would be my fourth one. But go ahead. We'll continue.
See, and that's I'm torn on my fourth one because I'm like, do I say Magic or do I say Shaq?
Right.
If we was talking about favorites, I would say Shaq, but I'm picking Irvin Magic Johnson because he's Irvin Magic Johnson. So
Right.
that's my Mount Rushmore: Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Kobe Bean Bryant, Allen Ezell Iverson, and Magic Johnson. It's my Mount Rushmore.
I give you that. That's a good one.
Nate,
Let's go shock you how I said though. But I got my four. Um,
don't say Larry Bird.
no, Larry ain't in the top four. He ain't in the Rushmore. Um, I'm going with
Not that he don't belong in the discussion, but I just don't
yeah.
want you to be
No,
biased as
he
a
ain't. He
Celtic.
ain't. As much as he did, a lot of people don't realize it because it was before their time. The man did that man from Indiana did a lot of things that people didn't realize he did. Shot a whole game left-handed. Did a whole lot of things, but I can't put him in an argument due to the fact that there's better athletes and
I'm a Larry
better
Legend
athletes.
fan, so I wouldn't,
Yeah, but there's a lot of better players in
He
front
may
of him.
not be in yours, but he's definitely in the conversation.
He definitely my top 10. I'll tell you that. But I'm gonna start off Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Well, let's be real. Come on now. It's number one. LeBron James is my number two. My number three is Shaq because I feel like he gets ignored because of his dominance and what he did. And my number four, just because I'm a basketball guy, and Tone go love it, but it's Tim Duncan, Mr. Duke Fundamental.
If I would have said
y'all
that,
be trying to
Alex would
give.
have cussed. Hey man, respect Timmy, bro. Don't do that.
Yeah, man.
At the end of the day,
I
you
can't
know what my
ignore Tim
problem is?
Duncan.
My problem is what Shaq said. It's the fact that y'all are so eager to leave Kobe Bean Bryant out of this discussion.
No. So no. I'm gonna
It's
explain that. I'm gonna
disgusting.
explain it. And let me explain this. I'm gonna explain this. Kobe was the replica of who?
We know.
That's the only reason.
The replica of who? What are we talking about?
He imitated his game after Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He got his knowledge from Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
And that's not a slight. That's just what it
It's
is.
not a slight
It is
at
a slight.
all.
It is
It's
a
not a
slight
slight.
because
It's not a slight at all.
and I hate using this word on this program. It is a slight because niggas use it as a slight when we having these discussions, and it pisses me off because it's like, what does that have to do with anything? Okay, so he emulated his turnaround jump shot after Michael Jordan and a few other moves. Excuse me. To that's why we couldn't be in the studio also because brother ain't feeling all that hot right now. But I just don't understand how that's a negative thing that people try to use because you can imitate somebody all damn day, but you still got to be good enough to make the shot.
Right. He just wasn't in mine just because he wasn't in mine. There wasn't no other reason. But
Well, we've had that discussion before, Big John.
yeah.
You know, just one of them people you don't like for whatever reason, but you know,
and it's crazy. It's crazy. I wanted to put Timmy in mine, but I'm like, nah, I can't do that, man. There's too many other.
So my bad. I missed what it said because it kicked me out. But
well, all I said was I hate that argument because okay, so he emulated his turnaround or a couple moves, which everybody emulates somebody, even if they put their own spaz on it or whatever. It's like, so that's supposed to be a bad thing.
Who's emulated Timmy?
Nate, you can go out and imitate Michael Jordan right now. It don't mean the damn shot is going in. You still had to be good enough to make the shot.
You absolutely
I don't care
correct.
who you imitated. I just think people don't like Kobe, so they try to use that.
No, because Kobe's they're my top 5. That's my top 5.
But they try to use that as something. Oh, you emulated Michael Jordan. What the hell are you talking about? You go outside and emulate Michael Jordan right now.
I'm sorry.
And I put 20 on it. You don't make the shot.
Right.
It's not an argument. And then you have people that get into stuff that ain't basketball related. Oh, well, he told on Shaq or this or that. I
never respect people that bring that up. I don't.
My Mount Rushmore was purely basketball related of what I like. So
that's mine too. It's about what I like as well, just like Al's. It's about what I like. Only thing is, I say Michael Jeffrey Jordan do things Kobe didn't do.
We should have said Mount Rushmore.
Some of those amazing shots he did. Some of those shots we'll never see ever again ever in life.
We should have said Mount Rushmore minus Jordan because that's a given.
That's a given.
Too easy anyway.
If you'd have did that, if you'd have did that, Kobe would have been the 4th. He would have been the person.
Because Michael Jordan is the ultimate cheat code. He's going to be on everybody's list.
He is.
Okay, so let's go straight power forwards. Mount Rushmore NBA history.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Big John.
Wow. Oh, okay. Just power forwards. Okay. Timmy, of course. Chuck, Weber.
Ooh,
you got a nice list. Right?
I don't want to do this last one because I don't like him. But the mailman, I don't want to do it because I don't like him. But the mailman.
Had to put the mailman in there. Karl Malone.
Yeah.
Nate.
I go Timmy, mailman, Dirk.
Okay.
Dirk.
And, Charles. I give Charles that 4th nod. Charles was different. Charles was a different type of power forward.
And I don't hate Dirk, but he just can't be on my 4. But go ahead. He's a dog though.
I respect Tim Duncan, but he's not on my Mount Rushmore power forward.
Here you go. How is the greatest power forward of all time not on your Mount Rushmore? He's literally the best ever at his position.
He ain't on my Mount Rushmore.
Here you go.
He gonna put Sheed in there. I already know he is.
So my Mount Rushmore power forwards is Sir Charles, the mailman, Chris Webber, and Kevin Garnett.
Only reason I didn't use KD is because
KG.
only reason I didn't use KG was because KG really couldn't shoot very well.
I almost put Sheed in there because if you want to be honest
I would have
about
put
it,
Sheed over
let
KG.
me put that asterisk in that honorable
Yeah,
mention.
I would have
If
put
you want to be
Sheed
honest
over
about it,
KG.
Sheed to give anybody that business, both
Yeah,
in the paint and in the perimeter.
yep.
There wasn't nothing that Rasheed Wallace couldn't do as a four
At all.
on the court. You
If
know,
the Rain
sometimes
Man could shoot, he would have been in the top 5.
I
well,
got a
he
problem
might
with
be
you.
one of the most athletic. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, give me your Mount Rushmore of in game, not dunk contest, in game dunkers.
In game.
You
Okay.
want me to go first? You go.
I'll go
You
first.
go first, or Big John, whoever.
Jordan, Vince, Dominique Wilkins, and Sean Kemp.
I don't know how you ain't got Kobe in there. Kobe's probably the top 2.
First of all, don't do that because I'm
He's
still
never
mad.
gonna put Kobe
ever.
in a
First
top
of all,
4 or anything.
I'm mad at Alex. Just gave the equivalent of giving a Mount Rushmore of boxing and not putting Ali on there. How do you not put the best power forward of all time on your list? That doesn't even make sense. But that's your list. So go ahead.
Just because you like them boring ass bank shots and all that,
Hey man,
that
don't
he
get mad.
did, don't mean I have to.
Bro, he
Like
was
it.
averaging 20 for 10 seasons.
But did you stop it?
There wasn't nothing stopping him.
It was so simple, but did you stop it?
At the end of the day, so in game dunkers for me, I think Sean Kemp is number 1 as far as in game dunkers. Dominique is in there. I would have to put MJ in there, and I would put probably Kobe at the last one at 4 for in game dunkers. I almost said Amari Stoudemire to be honest, but
As many
In-game
bodies as
dumpers, y'all.
as many bodies as Vince caught. Vince ain't in your 4?
Y'all tripping. Y'all ain't even put
no,
Vince
not
in.
in game dunkers, nah. Because what
Vince
bodies you
got some of the
talking about?
most insane in dunks ever.
What bodies you talk about other than Alonzo Mourning after his kidney transplant
No.
and the dude in the
He
Olympics?
got a reverse dunk on Rick Smith that was crazy. What are you talking about?
Send me the highlight after this.
Oh, all right, yeah, all right, I got you. Don't worry about it. No, Vince is top 4. Vince is probably
That's my list. Sean Kemp, Dominique Wilkins, Jordan, and Kobe for in-game dunkers.
I'm going Kobe, Jordan, Vince, and then I'm going who I just forget.
How you gonna leave Sean Kemp off of this list?
Sean
Like,
Kemp.
there's
That's what
no
I'm saying.
way
I was trying to remember the last one. The Rain Man definitely got
he
a
might
lot of
be
in
the
game.
best
He
in-game
was
dunker of all
crazy.
time.
Yeah, Rain Man was crazy, but
Yeah.
Vince was crazy too, and Kobe
I'm
was
not
there
saying
too.
that he wasn't. Look, I'm a big Vince guy. We had this argument last year when they left him off the 75th anniversary team, which I thought was insane. Like, how do you telling me Vince Carter ain't one of the 75 best players ever to play this game? Like, that's
But you know
crazy.
they based that off stats too, though. That's the
Still,
problem.
still,
Problem.
still.
He got the stats too. What?
No, It was a couple years. It wasn't. He didn't look too well.
Well,
That's because he played like 25 years.
But we can stay on
No, we
Hooper
talking
all
about
day.
we talking about first 10.
But
First 10, his first 3 years, he wasn't that amazing. He was a
okay,
dunk crazy man. The third year is when it kicked in. First and second year, he was only averaging like 12 to 15 points a game.
you talk about when he was putting up 50 going to AI.
Yeah,
You don't
third and
remember that
fourth year.
Vince
That was the
Carter.
third and the fourth year.
But no, seriously. So we can talk about basketball all day. So I want to get over to football and get these sound bites. Mount Rushmore NFL wide receivers.
You post mine.
Is it me? Oh yeah.
I didn't post nothing. I didn't give that away to the public. I might have put something in our group chat.
Oh, I thought you posted. My bad.
No,
Okay.
I didn't post it. Big John, go ahead, cause I know you biased. I know you gonna put the playmaker in there.
Yeah, it's Jerry, Randy, T.O., and Michael Irvin.
Oh, I like it. Nate.
Randy, Jerry, T.O. I think I had a wild card for y'all. I can't remember who I had down. I can't open it yet.
He
I'm scared to
he
touch my
he
phone.
just he just going against the grain to do
Nah,
it, man.
I had somebody that was just like
Now my 4 is still interchangeable, but I'm gonna let Alex go ahead.
Okay, my Mount Rushmore
yeah,
NFL wide receivers all time is pretty much easy. It's Jerry, Randy, T.O., and my wild card is Chris Carter is number 4 for me.
so
But
I think that's
And,
right.
and the
that
reason
was
let me explain why to people. The reason I put Chris Carter in there over the playmaker, who would have otherwise probably been my number 4, is because playmaker was blessed to play on one of the greatest teams ever in NFL history, and was flanked by Hall of Famers and Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. I had people like Charles Haley and Deion Sanders on the other side of the ball to get the ball back to him. Um, I think for me, looking at Chris Carter, what he was able to do with people like Jeff George and Brad Johnson and old Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham, and a moderately skilled Dante Culpepper, I think Chris Carter is starting to become one of the most underrated wide receivers in NFL history because these young kids don't know anything about it.
But it was everything you just named, and why my 4th spot I said was interchangeable because he was the 4th. Because even before Randy Moss and Terrell Owens came on the scene, the guy that was number 2 in every statistical category
That's who
under
it
Jerry
was.
Rice
My
was
bad. Go
Chris
ahead. Now.
Carter. Was Chris
Yep.
Carter. He was literally
Yep.
number 2 in every statistical category behind Jerry Rice before T.O. and Randy came about.
He
Yeah.
was.
Yep.
Because
My
we
4th
talked
was
about
Calvin
this.
Johnson. My bad.
Oh, you put Megatron in there?
Yeah, Megatron was
Okay.
my.
Well, everybody likes to talk about him. So who's the Mount Rushmore NFL quarterbacks?
Dan, Joe,
Ooh, Dan the man, Joe
yeah,
Cool.
Dan, Joe, Tom,
Oh, people gonna hate me.
and I wasn't the biggest fan when I was younger, but then I realized when I got older, I put a good old John Elway in there.
Big John.
Joe, John, Big Tom. The last one is tough because
He say
I
what
want to
John
say
told Joe.
Dan, but that last one's
Woo.
tough. That last one's tough.
It's tough when you start talking about these quarterbacks. Cause some of them elites is interchangeable.
Yeah, and they are, and that's the crazy. But my 3 don't change. Like the Joe, Big Tom, and John, those 3 don't change. Okay, I'm gonna just. I just gotta just say one. I gotta just say one. All right, I'm gonna go with Troy. Troy's my 4.
Going with Troy.
Surprise, Cowboys fan.
There you go.
My Mount Rushmore NFL quarterbacks. Y'all know who number 1 is. Joe Montana. Number 2 is John Elway. Number 3 is Dan Marino. And number 4, I'm going to go with the Sheriff, Peyton Manning.
Ooh, I ain't even think about the Sheriff.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna change my 4 to Peyton. I'm gonna change my 4 to Peyton. Yeah, I'm gonna change my 4 to Peyton.
I left Big Time off of there.
Say hi.
How you gonna leave a man off that got
school uniform?
It's just like you left Tim off. How you gonna leave a man off that got 7 Super Bowls?
Because what did Lil Wayne say? I don't care if there's heroin in my cup. It's my cup.
Like
It's his cut.
He got 7. It's people that don't have 1. He has 7.
Oh man, we got a Corey Brooker sighting, man. Ever since they hacked my old account, man, it's been hard keeping up with this dude, man. Mr. Brooker said, leaving that UM off the list. Of course, sir.
Yeah.
It's personal.
Yeah, you good.
Now, you know what, man? I respect Tom. It's sort of like the way I feel about Charles Wilson. Like, I respect the hell out of him. I just hate him. So, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's honestly, even outside of that, personal feelings aside, I've always said Tom Brady was the greatest winner. But if you're asking me to just draft a quarterback and start my franchise, he would be so far down my list. He would be top 20. But like if you just asking me like from a straight talent, ability, athlete straight, first of all, I'm gonna choose John Elway number one every time. Because like Mel Kiper said, he said, I've only given two people a perfect score ever. That was John Elway and Deion Sanders. And I believe the same thing that John Elway, especially a young John Elway that could still scramble and stuff, was perfect quarterback, just perfect. Uh, but for me, there's so many other guys. There's Joe Cool, there's him, there's Favre, there's Steve Young, there's Warren Moon. Hell, my favorite quarterback of all time is Randall Cunningham. And he may not
That's
belong on the
unmatched.
Mount Rushmore, but it's a damn good quarterback. You know what I mean? So there's just so many guys that I would choose before Big Tom. You know, Corey said talent, ability is a different discussion altogether. It is, but again, you still look for certain traits when drafting your franchise quarterback, and a lot of it depends on type of roster you have, the offensive philosophy, how you want to play football, and there are guys that
But
stand out more to me. Like I said, maybe he's not the winner that Tom Brady is, but Carson Palmer
but what do
checks all the
you
boxes for an NFL
He
quarterback and
did.
what you want too.
like he said, that's talent, and that is a totally different conversation. But this is my question to you, Al. What do you, because we are athletes, what do you do for the guy for his whole career that has consistently gotten better to where he became that guy? Like, do you even though in the beginning of, if
See,
you
but you're
like you
saying that
said,
in hindsight, and I always go back
no,
to
no, no,
these
no.
guys
But I'm
coming
saying,
out of
I'm
college.
saying it in hindsight, but also as being an athlete, even as a coach, you may see a kid that you start coaching, he ain't as good, but through those 4 years of playing, he becomes an all city, all state guy. Like, what do
Those
you?
guys happen, but again, I always make sure that I point out that Tom Brady getting picked number 199 in that draft was not a mistake. He got picked where he was supposed to get picked.
He got
Did
picked
he
where he was supposed
become
to
a
be at.
better player and maximize his talent? Absolutely. But it wasn't a mistake. I mean, again, we've talked about this before. They tried to replace him three different times while he was at Michigan, whether it was Brian Greasy, Driesback, or Drew Henson. You know, now they act like they love him because he's the GOAT. It looks good for PR and stuff. That's why Tom Brady ain't been back, but maybe two times since he left. Michigan. But they don't want to talk about that. What Ream say? Joe Burrow shouldn't be on the list yet. Nobody named Joe Burrow, but
Ain't
I tell
nobody
you
putting
this.
no Joe Burrow on the
We
But I
list.
meant
tell you,
Joe
Ray, look, here you
Montana,
go.
youngin.
Here you
You on that
go.
we
young
was
boy stuff.
all talking about the original Joe Cool, Joe
We
Montana.
wasn't talking
It's
about
just
Joe
Joe
like on this
Burrow.
Montana is who we
program.
was talking about.
It's just like on this program when we say the champ, when we talk about boxing, we ain't talking about Floyd Mayweather, we ain't talking about Iron Mike. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. We talk about Muhammad Ali when we say
Talking
champ.
about Ali Boombaye.
Joe
Right.
Joe
We
Cool
talking
is
about
Joe Montana on this
Montana.
program.
We ain't talking about Burrow.
But if Joe Burrow does lead the Cincinnati Bengals to the promised land, y'all can kiss my ass. That's the equivalent of three or four Super Bowls elsewhere, and people don't understand. It's like LeBron winning one with the Cavaliers. Like y'all don't understand, like the energy and effort it took, and the bad Aju that you had to overcome to get there. It's more to it than that. So if Joe get me one here, I don't give a damn. I'm calling him the GOAT. Whatever. If he get
Yeah.
me one. That's all I want. If Joe give me one, he's the fucking GOAT in my book. So, because it takes a lot to even do what he's did already here with the Bengals. It was 31 years we went without a playoff victory until Joe Burrow got here.
We ain't been to the Super Bowl since '88. So that tell a lot. Respect
Corey
that
Brooker said,
gangster.
"Give me Mike Vick to start my team and my system, and we will win." Uh,
I don't have a
is it?
problem with that. Because
I mean, from a straight ability and talent standpoint, because I tell you what, if we got the Michael Vick that was fine tuned by Andy Reid
in Philly his whole career, yes. But even Steve Young, another Hall of Famer, said if Mike and Vick can get it together, he'll be the best quarterback ever. He did
say that. I remember him saying that, but he never got it together when he was in Atlanta. He was always playing off of his ability versus putting in the time and studying and playing within the confines of the system in Atlanta. But I mean, talent wise, Mike Vick is still on another planet.
Yeah, for sure.
Reem said, "Gotta be clear, man." Reem, as much as you watch this program, you should know who we talk about too. If we say the champ, just like your last name say Muhammad,
right?
That's who we talking about.
Right. We talking about Joe. It's only one Joe we gonna say by name. It ain't Broadway Joe. It ain't Burrow. It's Joe Montana.
What Don Cheadle say on that? That's my favorite NFL playoff commercial. It's like fathers expect more when they name their son Joe now.
Right.
And that's all because of Joe Montana. Well, Joe Namath too, but
but we would say Hollywood Joe, and then we ain't gonna say that.
It's Broadway Joe. I ain't say
Broadway Joe.
Say Broadway Joe. We ain't gonna say that.
Broadway Joe.
We say Joe is Joe Montana.
Tom Brady is number one. Man, Reem, I'm not listening to you. Everything you say is polluted with maize and blue. Like you don't even try to be unbiased, man. So I can't even count it.
Reem, I ain't got nothing to do with that Michigan stuff, but he number one to me too. You can't argue with 7, so I'm not gonna argue with 7. But
as y'all see, I got hands on me.
Robert Horry got 7 too, don't he?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Big Tom is not Robert Horry.
I didn't say he was, but I don't see people saying Robert Horry is the greatest power forward of all time because he's got 7.
The most important position in all of team sports has 7 rings. Is not Robert Horry. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
Corey said, "Real question: you taking Tom in his era or Terry Bradshaw in his?"
Yeah, yes, I am.
Good question.
As much as I love Terry Bradshaw, he played with the Steel Curtain. He played with all those guys.
Yeah, he had a defense that was
walking Hall of Fame team. Big Tom was Big Tom, and I'm not saying Big Tom didn't have
Wait
Hall of Fame guys.
Okay, so I mean, if you want to discount Terry Bradshaw for playing with Lynn Swann and Stallworth and the rest of them and Franco Harris and the gang, okay. So especially in the beginning, Big Tom wasn't playing with no scrubs. Neither, man.
Jabbar Gaffney, Brown.
I'm not talking about even offensively. But Corey Dillon wasn't no scrub neither.
He wasn't.
So by far. But no, I'm talking about defense wise. Like when you talk about Richard Seymour and Vince Wilfork and Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, like come on, man. He has some dogs on defense, man. Sante Samuel, even some of the guys in the back end of that second run, Patrick Chung was underrated to me as a safety for the Patriots. Like, and the thing is, they knew how to draft, so they may not always had the name, but the guys that they got fit their system.
They had a different type of GM back in the day too. Like he didn't miss.
Belichick was the GM, but he just
in Pittsburgh.
You talking about Pittsburgh? We talking about New England.
Talking about Pittsburgh. Look. To answer Brother Booker's question, I would probably pick Big Tom over Terry Bradshaw slightly, and I do mean slightly. But as far as everybody else, Joe Namath, no, I'm not picking Tom Brady over him. No, I'm not picking him over to John Elway. I wouldn't pick him over Brett Favre. I wouldn't pick him over Troy Aikman. I wouldn't pick him over Steve Young. These are just the guys that I wouldn't, pick him over. Warren Moon, Dan Marino. Honestly, it would be a coin flip between me and him and Jim Kelly if I'm, picking a quarterback and had a choice of the two. Hell, I like Boomer. Like I said, I feel like I could win championship with Randall Cunningham with the right team. There's a lot of quarterbacks that just, Carson Palmer had all the intangibles that you look for in a franchise, quarterback. So if you give me the choice of the two, and Tom Brady sitting there with that white T-shirt tucked into them, gold shorts at the combine, looking all awkward, coming out of Michigan. No, like I said, there's quite a few quarterbacks, and Big John's making that face, but he wouldn't have drafted Tom Brady over them quarterbacks either. He's just saying that now, after the fact in hindsight. But realistically, no, you wouldn't have drafted him over Peyton Manning coming out of college. That's just insane.
That's drafting, but what do you do with the guy that proves he's better along the way? That's fine that you won't pick him in the draft.
Look, he proved that he was a better winner and played for a better organization. I don't know that, to me, that necessarily makes him better or more gifted as a quarterback than those individuals that I just named.
Where was New England before he got there?
Craig Eason.
Where was it? And what did he do when he get to the Super Bowl and got destroyed? And that was the only
85 Bears.
Of course.
What are you talking about?
Of course. And I get what you're saying. That's the only season you can bring up. There's not a history to show you where New England was.
No, Bledsoe made the Super Bowl against Brett Favre in '96 down there in New Orleans.
Okay. Did he win?
Oh, so he didn't?
Did he win? Did he win?
Did he make the Super Bowl?
He made the Super Bowl.
Did he make the Super Bowl?
He made the Super Bowl.
No, I get what you're saying. Was there a consistent New England, history? No. But, they had made a couple Super Bowls. I mean, it was they were far from the laughing stock of the league.
I mean, they were serviceable, but all right. It's a whole bunch of teams that made it to Super Bowls number one. The Bengals included. But what I'm saying is,
I mean, people would say, where were we at till we got Joe Burrow? You know what I mean?
For you to have it.
Corey Brooker said, what if Terry Bradshaw wasn't allowed to be hit, though? I mean, listen, there's a lot of quarterbacks. There's a lot of quarterbacks. Because the number one that pops into my head is like, what would Dan Marino be doing right now? If you talk about just putting up numbers, like people like him, Warren Moon, if they didn't have to worry about staring down that barrel, Jim Kelly after stealing the no-huddle offense from Boomer, huh?
Warren Moon would have been killing the league.
I know he would have. That's the Hall of Fame.
And then not having to go straight to Canada, having him being able to go straight to the NFL, he'd been killing the league. Wait
a minute. Let's see. Reem does this stuff. He's about Joe Namath. I'm done. Like, don't disrespect Joe Namath, man. Like he ain't one of the GOATs or the greatest quarterbacks ever.
Why you keep letting him get under your skin? Because he ain't doing
nothing. He gonna keep messing with this man.
Get out of here. I don't want to hear that shit. Joe Namath would light shit up in this era too if he didn't have to get hit. Trust me. Y'all need to go back and do your research if you don't know.
Like I said.
See, when I try to have Ring go back and do his research, he never wants to do his research. See, thank you, Corey Brooker. See, he understands what I'm saying. Dan Marino would not be hitting his receivers, not being touched. Warren will too. Exactly. Same thing I just said.
I'm not
those two in particular would have put up video game numbers.
I'm not disagreeing with that. It's a lot of guys that benefited from being in certain time frames, whether it be, and some of the guys I'm finna name I like, whether it be a Drew Brees or Phillip Rivers or all these other guys, they benefited from being in the era they played in.
What about the running back room? Because the game has changed, and we talk about eras being different, and the way they do running backs now. I made an argument. People talk about King Henry and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's high running ass. I don't believe he would have been as effective back in the day when you could really lay wood paws to people. But Eddie George in this spread era, can you imagine Eddie George in this era?
Oh, it's ugly.
Or a wide receiver spread it out.
It's ugly.
Come
He
through
get a
that
few
hole with a
MVPs. Eddie George get a few MVPs.
But the crazy thing about it is, man, I feel like with being the athlete that Henry is, I think he would have adapted in a different era because he wouldn't be able to run that high. Because
I was gonna say somebody who had to teach him to lower his pass because he
oh
definitely
yeah,
don't do it now.
he first of all he's an equipped athlete. He will be fine. But is he coming through running through like that against Ray Lewis or Deacon Jones and all them? Probably not. He's not. But he's an adapt athlete to change. I will give him his credit. He will. I think he's an adapt enough athlete to change.
So we did quarterbacks, we did wide receivers. We have not done defense yet. So I need to know who's on your Mount Rushmore for defensive ends all time.
Defensive ends. Oh.
Yep.
Okay, are we counting standing linebackers as defensive ends?
Because
that kind of changes the game.
That's hard.
Oh, okay.
Hard.
Now,
so you asking about the DeMarcus Wares and Kevin Green?
Yeah. I'm not trying to make it hard because this does apply because technically J.J. Watt is a defensive end, but scheme-wise, he's really a D tackle.
Say J.J. Watt a defensive end.
But scheme-wise,
I
he's
want
really a D tackle.
traditional hand in the dirt.
Okay. Traditional hand in the dirt defensive ends. Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Julius Peppers. This last one gonna be tough. This last one's gonna be tough. Damn, because it's so many like defensive ends. Jesus.
See, Corey Brooker wants to say just call it pass rusher, but I mean, if we do that, that opens the door for
That
Von
changes.
Miller.
Okay.
Because I mean, if we do that, then I'll just say Lawrence Taylor. But
Okay, I got it. All right, cool. I'm cool. So I'm gonna go. Like I said, Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Julius Peppers, Michael Strahan. My 4.
Nate.
I'm going LT, Reggie White.
He's LT is a linebacker.
So we putting him in the linebacker?
Yeah, you got to go hand in the dirt defense.
Just straight defensive end.
Reggie White, Bruce Smith. It's hard. Pause. I need that. I got to think on this one. That's just
all right. So I mean, everybody pretty much has from our era the same first 2. Reggie White, Bruce Smith is like hands down 1A, 1B. For me, number 3. You know me because I'm a historian of the game. I'm gonna go Deacon Jones at number 3, and then at number 4, I would probably go with Strahan. But there's so many guys. There's Julius Peppers. There's Jason Taylor.
And the only reason why I picked like Julius Peppers because of the athlete he was, number 1. And people fail to realize you don't know it, but he's 4th all time in sacks. He should be number 3, but he's only a half a sack behind Kevin Green.
Right.
So he should be 3. So that means it's
that's who I was thinking about, but I couldn't remember the name. It just wasn't coming to me.
I was
thinking about a Carolina Panther. I couldn't think who it was.
Tony, if you don't get that team up north shit off of my
and bruh, Strahan was in my 4 too, but like I said, like Julius Peppers is like a dog. Like if you went in the lab and made a defensive end, Julius Peppers would come out. Curse is one of my favorites, but he's
one of my favorites, but I can't put him on the Mount Rushmore. Derek Thomas linebacker, yeah, he's a linebacker because, like I said, if you start talking about linebackers that rush the passer,
yeah,
like
Derek Thomas linebacker.
LT is number 1. I would probably go with Derek Thomas number 2. Kevin Green would be number 3. And I would probably put Von Miller as number 4. I know there's other guys that would do it. I mean, but even with defensive ends, we leaving off people like Charles Haley, that
I was thinking about Charles Hurley too. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can put him in that list though.
But then you got guys like, man, it's just like you said, like the Javon Curses and all that. We already talked about that, dog.
Yep. Ain't going back over it neither. So.
But yeah, man, it's. But like I said, it's scheme. Like football is such a team sport and it's such scheming because, like I said, technically, JJ Watt would be in the defensive end category, but semantically, he's a defensive tackle. He's not really a defensive end. But
okay, well let's go defensive tackles then.
Okay.
Your Mount Rushmore. I'm gonna go first on this one.
Go ahead.
Warren Sapp, easily number one for me. John Randall at number 2. Vince Wilfork at number 3. And number 4. Oh man.
Everybody you just named, and then I'm adding Fletcher Cox. Am I wrong for that?
No.
I think he belongs in the discussion. I just can't think of a fourth guy right now because it's so hard.
You can. Maybe you just don't want to say it.
Well, because I feel like for years this guy that I'm getting ready to say got credit, and a guy that played right here in Cincinnati didn't get credit, and they were essentially the same player. And you know who I'm alluding to.
I know who you're saying.
But I would probably say Aaron Donald, looking like the Thing from Fantastic Four. But
okay.
Geno Atkins did the same thing and has a Hall of Fame discussion-worthy career also.
Okay. Mine would be Randall would be my number 1. As much as I'm a U-boy, as much as I love Sapp, there is no defensive tackle that has more sacks than John Randall. John Randall's like 7th or 8th all time. He has probably more sacks than a lot of defensive ends.
He does.
John Randall, number 1. Sapp, number 2. Number 3 will be Aaron Donald. Number 4, Vince Wilfork. Honorable mention, even though he's not the same player.
How you gonna put Aaron Donald over Vince Wilfork and you a U guy?
I also put John Randall above Sapp, and I'm a U guy. But honorable mention, and they're not the same player. They
John ass backwards. That's why.
There you go, man. Take care of your daughter. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Anyway,
don't worry about what I'm doing.
Honorable mention, and even though he's not the same kind of player, and he was there for different purposes, will be the grave digger Gilbert Brown. That would be my honorable mention if I could throw one in there.
That's because you look like him when you put on your pants.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
But you know what, man? Gilbert Brown and Santana Dotson and all of them that played on that line were good NFL players. I'm not going to disrespect none of them, but they all benefited from playing with Reggie White. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So sticking with defense, people always ask me this, and I think it'd be a great conversation to have. I'm not even going to mess with Tony Braid's comment right now on it. Or Corey Brookers, to be honest, because he's supposed to be a Buckeye fan.
Hey, go on with that bullshit. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. It was even your fellow Ohio State guy who actually is a DB said the shit. It was. Go on with that bullshit.
Nah, look, see, because you always try to do that.
But bro, we
came back from winter break, John's 9th grade year, my 10th grade year, and John damn near tackled me on the ice as I got off the bus. So that's pass interference. That's pass interference. I'm like, I'm speaking as a DB. I'm like, I wouldn't have called it. That's not the same thing as me saying.
Nobody would have called.
That's not the same thing as me saying, man, there wasn't no contact at all prior to the ball getting there. I was just saying as a DB, I probably would have caught it. And the thing about it is, as I've always said, Chris Gamble had the opportunity still to catch the ball, even with the contact from Glenn Sharp prior to the ball getting there. And I have invited John to watch this game with me many times, and he won't do it because he's scared.
I'm not scared. I won't do it because I've watched it too many damn times.
You ain't watched it as many times as me.
I probably haven't, but I've watched it more than enough to know what I see.
What about that clip at the end of the game?
Hey, bro, let's go to Mount Rushmore stuff. Let's go to Mount Rushmore stuff.
All right, so.
Hey, thank you, Al.
Corner. Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Corner, Mount Rushmore. Prime, Charles Woodson, Champ, and Rod Woodson.
Yeah, you said my list, Big John. You was thinking of everybody. I was just thinking. I was sitting here thinking hard. Like, no, you just said everybody I was thinking of.
This is gonna be tough for me. Number one, obviously, is Prime. As far as corners go. Number two, I hate him but respect him, Charles Woodson. Number three is Rod Woodson for me.
You better not put the beat in there.
It can't be nobody but the Champ. Like
no, Champ Bailey is a Hall of Famer and a great football player.
Reeves in there too, though.
I was never as high on him as other people were, and Chad Johnson used to give Champ Bailey the business. I know everybody has that one guy that they can't, mess with, but no, and I hate to put two guys from that team up north on my list, but honestly, I would probably put Ty Law at number 4 for me.
That's a wild card for real.
That's a good one. That's a good one right there.
It's a whole bunch of guys I probably would have named before Ty Law.
I think Ty Law belongs in the discussion. He may not make some people's Mount Rushmore, but Corey Brooker had a few names. Now I don't agree with Aeneas Williams, but Darryl Green could certainly be in the discussion for Mount Rushmore.
I think Aeneas Williams has an argument. He just played with Arizona. Like,
yeah.
If you look at Aeneas Williams' stats, they crazy. He just played with Arizona. Like,
yeah. But you know how I am about the stats thing. Like, they matter. And I don't discount them. But
then like he said, you got Aeneas Williams. Even though I wasn't that big on him, pause. Revis Island, Champ Bailey. Like, even though Champ was in.
Yeah, I was thinking about Revis Island though. But before I said that, Ty Law, because Revis used to shut people down.
If it wasn't for Rod Woodson being my fourth probably would have been Revis, and I'm not.
I got another wild card because people always accuse me of being old school and always talking about the old players and never giving the modern era love, which is not true. But why is it Richard Sherman in the discussion?
Yeah,
you might not like it, but I don't care if he pissed people off. Go look at the numbers.
Yeah,
Richard Sherman belongs in the discussion.
He does, but I don't want to downplay him. But when you also are backed by Thomas and Chancellor, that kind of helps your situation.
There we go. He don't belong in the Mount Rushmore, but let's go ahead and mention it. Antoine Winfield might be the greatest 5'9" corner of all time. The 1998 Jim Thorpe Award winner, played 14 seasons in the NFL, one of the best tackling corners ever, and he can lock you up. Don't be waving your hand. Antoine Winfield was a beast. Beast. One of the greatest corners ever. And see, while John is waving his hand, let's go ahead and throw this in there, because no school has had more first-round defensive backs drafted than the ESPN already called us DBU. I know Ryan Clark and all them like saying that about LSU, which I don't understand because, other than the Honey Badger and Patrick Peterson, I'm missing all these standout DBs from LSU that translate into the pros.
Yeah, I don't get that either. And Brother Thomas smoking that good bag with that Texas thing too, but Yeah.
See, Reem's still on here. What Reem talking about? Bengals get off Michigan DBs for years. Yeah, that bites us in the ass too.
Hey man, you like Leon Hall?
Okay, that's one guy. You
and
know.
what and what was your boy from Indy you like too? Marlon Jackson? You like Marlon Jackson too?
Okay, so that's two guys.
I keep adding guys.
You know,
and
Marlon
even though you
Jackson
hate
and
even though
Leon
you hate to
Hall.
say it, and even though you hate to say it, you like
I
Charles
was
Woodson too.
I was huge fans of them. We know who my favorite and the only player I would actually say I'm a fan of is that played at that team up north. I don't even want to say his name because he said he was gonna come on the show, and now he don't respond to my messages. But he played wide receiver for that team up north. Still think he's the
Right.
greatest wide receiver ever to play there. So I ain't gonna say his name though till he come on the show because that's kind of foul, brother. But you know who you are, number one.
well,
Uh,
there's a couple number ones that was decent at wide receiver.
Well, I ain't talking about Anthony Carter or David Terrell. So you know I'm talking about the list. He know who I'm talking about.
but yeah, man.
Reem
Dang.
talking about the Bengals get all this. Look, so Reem wasn't on here earlier when I talked about this, and I said the Bengals missed Von Bell and Jesse Bates tremendously this year. I wouldn't, necessarily point that out and say that's absolutely, the sore thumb of the operation this year or anything like that. But it was clear. Did Dax Hill play okay? Yeah. But I mean, if that's what you want out of your free safety, just be okay, not really be a difference maker, just you know kind of George Iloka out there, and I don't mean to say that as a diss, but it's just all right, just out there, just as Charles Barkley would say, a jag, just another guy. Now I want 6 interceptions, in the discussion for defensive player of the year. I earned my $60 million contract, Jesse Bates. I want
Right.
that Derek Fisher, your defense, Von Bell, constantly making them timely, plays and being in the right spot at the right time.
We didn't
But
do
you can have DJ Turner if you want,
we didn't do
and that's
we didn't
Hill.
do we didn't do linebackers.
We didn't do
Yeah, I mean,
linebackers.
but we would have to do outside and middle.
We can do
So
you can do outside and inside together.
Nah, I don't know enough.
You can do outside and inside together.
okay, so we just do a linebacker period. It don't have to
Linebacker
be
period. I don't have to be
okay.
inside
Well,
outside.
obviously, if we're doing a Mount Rushmore, we talk about just linebackers in general. I would have to go with Lawrence Taylor, um, Ray Lewis. Mike Singletary. This is gonna shock people. I don't want to. Nah, I don't want to say him.
Come on, man.
Bro, come on.
It is prime James Harrison.
Wow. Didn't expect that one.
I didn't
All right,
either.
I'm gonna go LT, of course, Ray Lewis. And this is my last two gonna sound very biased, but Brian Urlacher and Junior Seau.
Whew. See, that's the thing, man. There's so many people. I almost forgot about Junior, man.
Y'all both forgot about my big dog. Even though he played with the ops, RIP to him, Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey Brooker said
Dad, that was you.
LT, Ray, Urlacher, and Derek Thomas. I almost put what's his name just passed, Nick Buckus
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. But like, man, I had to put Junior Seau in there, man, because not only was he a Hall of Famer, great player, like Junior Seau is like how you want your kid to play. Like you want him to have that energy, that fire. Like he was one of my favorite just football players growing up. Period. It didn't even matter about position. Like he played the game like you want your son to play the game.
I had all his football cards.
Like for real, like
I agree, Mr. Brooker. I said it. Your boy Cam got so mad at me because I was on here disappointed and calling the Bengals out for that. And I said, how in the hell? I said, we understood. Jesse Bates leaving was the best, worst kept secret of the past, couple years. We knew that, was a sacrificial lamb, one that we can't keep if we're going to keep this operation going. But they should have found a way to keep Von Bell, just flat out, period.
okay, I'm trying to think of what we didn't do.
We got Chris Taylor in the building. Who they, brother?
We didn't do. I don't know what Big Nate went. We ain't do safeties either.
Well, I was actually getting ready to do that, so
Okay.
kind of waiting for Nate to get back. Boy, I wish I was over this cold.
Yeah, man.
But we can start with Nate being gone. Wow.
I got 3 off top. I think one of my last one was probably gonna be the hardest. Pause.
I can't do safeties, man, because I like putting one over the other, and that's gonna be so hard.
Okay,
man.
so I go first. I do safeties first, and when I do safeties, it's not in one. I'm not ranking them. Ronnie Lott, Ed Reed.
I'm about to say you better put Ronnie and Ed in there first.
Ronnie, Ed. Even though I don't like him, and he's really to me he was a glorified linebacker. Troy Polamalu is in there too.
All right, we 3 for 3, John.
And the last one, it's a toss up. That's why I said it's hard. The last one would either be for me would be Brian Dawkins or Atwater. If I'm being a homer and my favorite, I'm gonna say Dawkins.
You just made my decision that much harder. But okay, so
that's my 4.
But what about Bob Sanders? Bob Sanders is my 4. If you said 3,
Bob Sanders,
he don't belong on no Mount Rushmore.
He don't belong on no Mount Rushmore, man.
I think it's just because of the fact he had the hit stick. I think that's really what it was.
Yeah. So,
now Mount Rushmore, as far as college safeties go, the 3-time consistent All-American Mike Doss would definitely belong on there. But anyway, let me think. Hey, he's in the College Football Hall of Fame, Big John.
I'm not arguing. I ain't said nothing.
Well, he popped Andre Johnson, stopped him from running around all crazy in that national championship. But anyway, this is crazy.
And like I said, my last
his career got cut short. But my Mount Rushmore for safeties, Sean Taylor is number 1 for me because I just know, when you see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Sean Taylor is number 1. Ed Reed is number 2. Ronnie Lott is number 3. Whew. And man, you asked me to choose between Steve Atwater and Troy Polamalu.
Like I said, I put Brian Dawkins as my last one because that's just me. That's just me being a homer. But if I didn't pick Brian Dawkins, it would have been Atwater.
I forgot.
I gotta go with Atwater. I gotta go with Atwater, and I respected the hell out of Troy Polamalu, even though he played for that team from Allegheny County. But I gotta go Atwater, man. And that's no slight to Troy Polamalu, because like I said, it was between those two. But to summarize it again for the folk, like I said, yes, I picked Sean Taylor number 1. I put Ed Reed number 2. I put Ronnie Lott at number 3. And I went with Atwater at 4, but that was tough because there's a lot of safeties that I just absolutely love, man.
And as much as I love Sean Taylor, and he is one of my U boys, it's sad that we didn't get to see his career. That's the only reason why I didn't pick him. Because had he finished, he would have been on my list.
And Corey Booker said, me and Bob in the 5'9" club, love that guy, man. Shit, it ain't many, but I tell you what. In that 5'9" club, especially as far as safeties go, you talking about Bob Sanders, you talk about the Honey Badger. I know I'm missing somebody that was 5'9".
But Bob Sanders was a dog, man. But he had the kind of the equivalent of a Terrell Davis career. Like it was a spark, but it was fast. Like he gave
Well,
you
the only reason Bob Sanders, was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts is because Mike Dawson got hurt. I'm just being honest. Like that's
right,
it.
right,
Mike Dawson's supposed to be their strong safety of the future. So
right, right. Like Bob Sanders, man, had a decent career, but it was very fast because of injuries and whatever. So
before we wrap up and get out of here, there's a couple more Mount Rushmores that I want to do. But I got one for Big John that
what's
I
that?
know he's gonna hate, and it's a difficult one. I
Mm-hmm.
need to know your Mount Rushmore wide receivers in Buckeye history.
Oh shit! There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Nate, you got your mic muted, man.
I'm gonna go David Boston. I'm gonna go. And this young guy showed me something. I'm gonna go Marvin Harrison Jr.
Ooh.
It's so many I want to name because like I said, even though I don't like y'all, I am a football historian. But it's so many I want to name. But it's so
You
many
don't have
ones
to
that
throw
I
that
can't.
other part in there. Just say the list.
Chris Carter, and the last one, y'all gonna laugh.
Yep.
Y'all gonna laugh. But my last one is Kenyon Rambo.
While I love Kenyon Rambo and think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in Ohio State history, did you really put him on the Mount Rushmore of Ohio State wide receivers?
You tripping.
You talking about over Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Ted Ginn, Santonio Holmes, all over them, Joey Galloway.
You tripping.
Terry Glenn, like you tripping, bruh.
I don't care.
All the people I just named, man.
So you asked me that question on purpose, so I don't care.
First of all, Joey Galloway should have been 1 or 2.
Argument. Corey Booker said Glenn, Wilson, Harrison.
Now, I was about to say Glenn
Carter.
should have been right there too, and you got Carter.
Look, I love Teddy, and I hope to have him on the program one day. But as much as I love Teddy, I can't put him in my Mount Rushmore Ohio State wide receivers.
It's too many more skilled receivers, and I like Ginn. I put Kenyon
Chris
Rambo
Taylor
on my
said
list.
Santonio, Joey, Terry. He like me. Like you leaving off some heavy hitters,
man. Some heavy hitters.
Cause it's my list. I don't care.
All right,
you asked me that question. You asked me that question to be funny, nigga. So don't be doing that, nigga. I ain't want to name nobody.
No, I asked you the question because you a football fan.
Yeah,
and it's a legit hard question in Ohio State because of the wide receivers that they've had.
Take Kenyon Rambo off and put Glenn on there. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm a little biased. You know, my favorite Ohio State wide receiver all the time is David Boston. So I'm still going to put him number 1 on my Mount Rushmore list. Chris Carter at number 2. Number 3 is where it gets really hard, but I'm going to go with Terry Glenn. And number 4.
Go ahead and put Joey on there.
No disrespect to Joey Galloway, but I am putting former Super Bowl MVP Santonio Holmes on there over him.
Ooh, that's tough.
Honorable mention to Chris Olave. I mean, because there's so many guys, like, nobody said Michael Jenkins, and he's still top 5 Ohio State all time.
And this is me.
No, you can't say that because Jenkins was
mine. You will put Olave over Wilson?
I would.
Yeah, at Ohio State, yeah.
Now the NFL is a total different thing, like Nate is saying, and the different ways that Wilson can be used in the slot and stuff. But yes, I was definitely, while they were there together, I was more of a Chris Olave guy than a Garrett Wilson. But they were both top 10 all time Ohio State also. Corey Booker said, was anyone more important to the team in Ohio State than Devin Smith? I I mean, for his role of taking the top off the defense, he definitely did that. And I don't know anybody that averaged damn near 30 yards a catch at
Yeah,
Ohio State. But I would say for his time, Teddy was pretty valuable too, because you saw what happened in that national championship when he wasn't there to take the top off the defense and be that vertical threat. There's been
yeah,
a couple other wide receivers. We don't win that national championship without Michael Jenkins being, the number one wide receiver, on that team. So there have been some guys that definitely carried their weight at Ohio State as wide receivers. So,
it's true.
and I felt bad for leaving Marv off that list because honestly, he might be
He might be one of
the
our best wide receivers,
he
though.
might be the most complete wide receiver
Yeah.
ever in program history. But that's just my list. And
Now you ain't
if
gonna get an argument from me. I
if
agree.
if, if Marvin Harrison did not David Boston off that number one spot for me, ain't nobody gonna do it. So, well, I shouldn't say that because they, got the number one player in the country again, and Jeremiah Smith, this year. So we'll see what happens.
It's
He
gonna be
said Teddy
interesting.
and Marv maybe. Yeah, well, we'd have been in trouble without Marv this year for sure.
Yeah, we ain't have him. It was over. He won a lot of games for us,
And
especially at Notre Dame.
and well, shoot, Emeka Ibuka was pretty important in that game too, especially that 4th and 15 that he hauled in. I'm glad he's coming back to school. So this was the last one we're gonna do before we get out of here. Running backs, man. Mount
Right.
Rushmore.
Barry, Walter. As much as I hate him, Emmett.
Why do you hate him? Like that's the hating stuff we talk about. That Al we talk about Kobe. Why do you hate him? You have no reason to hate him.
I hate Emmett due to the fact that he thought he was better than Barry.
He never thought he was better than Barry. When they had the interview and they was like, "Who's the better running back?" They both pointed at each other. He never thought.
Yeah, Emmett's very humble because to this day, Ashton Kutcher was talking about that when he finally got to meet Emmett in person, him and his friend, and he said, "Well, who's the best between you and Sweetness?" And he said, "It's Walter."
For sure.
Yeah.
So Emmett's pretty humble, but I think he deserves his just due too. Like we had Big
Yeah.
Ronnie
Don't
on
get me
here,
wrong. I just I think it comes from
what
me
Big Ronnie
not
say?
ever being a Cowboy fan.
What Big
I've
Ronnie
never
say?
supported the
He's no
Cowboy
Barry
brand. And
Sanders.
how about them Cowboys? I've never supported none of that. That was never my go-to. None of that. And LT
Court
was my
Booker
fourth.
said
He already
Barry,
said LT was my fourth.
LT, Folk, and Peyton.
And Court, like, why is it like how's the all-time leading rusher just in your top 10? I like people kill me with that. Like he literally went to Arizona and still ran for 975 yards on the
Same
Arizona
reason
team.
JT Barrett ain't in my top 10 for Ohio State quarterback.
JT Barrett and Emmitt Smith should never be in the goddamn. Excuse my
Why
language.
is Giannis
Should never
brother
be in
still in the league? What in the world?
He should never be in the same conversation as Emmitt Smith.
You know what
Let's
I'm
just stop
talking
that now.
about. Don't
I know what you're trying.
even
I
go
know
there
what you're
with it.
trying to say.
Don't
Yeah.
even
Don't do
go
that.
there with
Yeah.
it. Don't
do
even go
that.
there with it. Okay,
Don't do
so
that.
my Mount Rushmore for NFL running backs. Of course, Sweetness, Walter Payton is number one. Number two for me is Barry Sanders. Number three is Jim Brown. And number four is Emmitt Smith.
My list is the same as
Because
Alex's.
to me, and I want to back this up and say this again, we lost him last year. A lot of people are not historians. They don't love the game, as much as me and some other people do. Jim Brown, I promise you, would have did the same,
Yeah.
if not better, in today's time than he did during his time. The word all-time great is exactly that.
Yeah.
Nate, did you give yours already?
He didn't give it 4. He didn't get the last one. He said Barry, Emmett, and who else you say?
I said LT. LT was my fourth.
No, you said Walter. You said Walter, Barry, Emmett, and who else?
LT.
See, and I love LaDainian Tomlinson, but I can't put him in my Mount Rushmore or honestly even my top five because I just believe somebody like Adrian Peterson was flat
I
out better
think
than
what
him.
Now,
him. I think what it was, what he
now,
did coming out of the backfield and the catches and everything. That's really what made him
And ain't
now,
nobody
really
said
different.
Frank Gore neither.
Frank
Yeah.
Gore's number 3 all time. But here's the thing. If I said my Mount Rushmore was the same as yours, and I'm agreeing, but my honorable mention would be LaDainian Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson. Those would be my honorable mentions. Now, before Frank Gore got into the top 3, LaDainian Tomlinson was 5, so he was still top 5 in rushing behind Curtis Martin and the top 3. So, due to Frank Gore jumping in the mix, it pushed him down. So, I mean, LT would be in mine.
I mean, there's a lot of people when we start talking about this running back list, and Curtis, my favorite Martin, was another overlooked. Marshall Falk was a dog. A lot of people, man, but again, I've never seen nobody do more with less than Barry Sanders and Corey Dillon.
Yep.
All these other people we named would not have ran for the yards that Corey Dillon ran for on those Bengal teams that he played for. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Those facts.
Period.
Those
Point
facts.
blank.
And let's be real. Everybody in front of Corey Dillon is a Hall of Famer, or they will be a Hall of Famer. Put Corey Dillon in a Hall of Fame, bro. Stop playing.
See, John knows I hate this person that Corey Brooker just named on here because of that ignorant ass commercial that he did. But we won the game. Okay. So, and he was the reason that Lindale White got ran out of Tennessee too. So I ain't ever really messed with Chris Johnson, but he did run for 2,000 yards that one year. Yeah, so. But no, man, we had to get back in the swing of things for season 4. We have a lot of guests lined up already that want to come, on the show, and we'll be booking that. Things just didn't work out, especially with me and my snotty nose right now to be in the studio. We wanted to play it safe and do it virtually and just go on and get an episode back in. So as usual, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Slight changes this year. It may change and go back to Google and SoundCloud also, but I didn't get very much traction on those platforms. So right now you can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify are where we're at right now. Please hit those like buttons, share, look at the Facebook pages, content that we put out. My co-hosts, Will West, the Best Nate, and the Brown Bruce Wayne will help me out with posting content on the Facebook page going forward. But no, we appreciate everybody. We appreciate the love. We have some exciting things on the way for season 4. Some things we're gonna switch up, try to do different. I know that brother Chris Taylor was asking him and Brewski about the ability to call in to the show, which I'm working on. I'm researching some software and stuff to make that happen. Just some things to spice it up and do something different. So again, it's your boy I Am Pharaoh. Check it out with the Brown Bruce Wayne, Big John.
Yes,
Will
sir.
West the best. We'll do it better the next time.
You know it.